It's Tuesday, and Tuesday on BookTube is a day for doing tags. This is the Midyear Freakout Tag. A bit late because it's le 14 juillet, the 14th of July. Usually the Midyear Freakout Tag is done at the end of June or the very beginning of July. But I've been tagged by two wonderful booktubers, Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook and Aaron at Read Some Books Soon. My name is Jim, this is my channel, books, reading and stuff. 13 prompts. First prompt, what's the best book you've read so far? Okay, easy one to start with. No, I can't decide between these two. Lyrebird by Cecilia Ahern or The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. Lyrebird by Cecilia Ahern is about this girl Laura in the southwest of Ireland who's isolated from people for a long time, and she's discovered by this movie producer, and Laura has this ability to mimic people, mimic animals, mimic sounds like the coffee maker, and the producer thinks it would be a good idea to take her to Dublin to appear on a talent show. It's a very good book, and this is very moving. The Nightingale, it's set in wartime France, about two sisters, Vianne and Isabella, and it's about how they survive the Nazi occupation. Prompt 2, what's your best reread so far? I don't do a lot of rereading. I've only reread 2 books this year. One was Christine by Stephen King, and the other was Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka. This has to be the best. It's one of my favourite books, one of my favourite stories. I've read it 3 times now. Very few books I've read 3 times. Okay, that prompt 2 was actually prompt 3. I missed prompt 2. I can't read my notes here. Prompt 2, the real prompt 2 is what's the best sequel you've read so far this year? For me, this would be The Carnival Murders by Irina Shapiro. This is the 7th book in the Tate and Bell series. These are Victorian murder mysteries set usually in London, and I've read all of the Tate and Bell series so far. Prompt 4, what's a new release you haven't read yet but want to? Continuing with the Tate and Bell series, Murder at Devil's Ridge comes out on the 28th of this month. This is, again, it's Victorian murder mystery, but this one isn't set in London. This will be set in Suffolk, where Sebastian Bell's family are from, where his brother lives. When they go there to visit his brother, they find a murder. It's like Hercule Poirot goes on holiday and comes across a murder. So it seems with Inspector Bell. Prompt 5, what's the most anticipated release for the second half of the year? I don't have any anticipated releases at the moment. I've got lots of books I want to read, but these have all come out. Prompt 6, what's your biggest reading disappointment? For this, go with Aka Mochaladze of Old Hearts and Sword. I'm still looking for some good Georgian fiction that's translated into English. This is set in the 19th century. It's about a nobleman who is released from Russian captivity, and he goes to look for his brother. His brother is educationally challenged, and he's just heading west, and this nobleman goes in search of him, but I wasn't very invested in any of the characters. Prompt 7, what was your biggest surprise? Biggest reading surprise? I think The Deep by Rivers Solomon. This was a very short book, it's about 180 pages, but it still lingers with me. It's a fantasy, and it's about the children born to these African slave women who are thrown overboard, and their children come out in the ocean, and it's a very mesmerizing tale. 8, who is your favourite new author? Debut author or new to you? Here it's either Rivers Solomon, who wrote The Deep, or Kristin Hannah. I've heard a lot about Kristin Hannah. This was the first book I've read by her, and I'm very impressed. Prompt 9. Who is your newest favourite character? I think this is from the book I'm reading at the moment, Anyanwu in The Wild Seed by Octavia E. Butler. Anyanwu is taken from Africa, and she is the wild seed of the title, and she is a shapeshifter. And the part I'm reading at the moment, she's just shapeshifted into a dolphin, and she's swimming alongside the ship. And she's a fantastic character. She's lived for a very long time. She's an immortal being, and she's a shapeshifter. And number 10, what's a book that made you sad or emotional? There's a lot of very sad passages in this. In where they're living, there are Jewish people who are taken away to the camps. It's very heartrending because we know what happened to them. Also, the resistance fighters are caught. The Nazis are very brutal towards them. It's a very moving story, and it's brilliantly written. I'd recommend this to anybody who's interested in occupied France in the Second World War. 11. What's a book that made you happy? I think this one, Down Under, Bill Bryson. It's very humorous, but it also reminds me of travelling in Australia. I was there in 1987, 1988. I was travelling around. Bill Bryson was there shortly afterwards, so he's at the same era as I was, and it just brings back a lot of wonderful memories of a great country. 2 left. Number 12. What's the most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year? I think this is a Georgian Bible. The Georgian Bible has a lot more books than the Protestant Bible. This is for the Georgian Orthodox Church. It includes 4 books of Maccabees. I haven't read any of it yet because it's in Georgian. But it is a beautiful cover. Finally, prompt 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? There's many books I need to read by the end of the year. One particularly is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I want to read all of Jane Austen's books. I'm currently reading Sense and Sensibility, so reading Mansfield Park as well will mean I've read all 6 of her adult books, and then I want to do a ranking video. Why do I want to do a ranking video? Because I did a ranking video of all Dickens novels, and that video is doing far better than any of my other videos. Probably it's done better than the last 50 videos I put out combined. It's got over 4,000 views, my ranking of Dickens novels. So I want to do a ranking of Jane Austen's novels. But to do that, I need to read Mansfield Park, and I need to finish Sense and Sensibility. So I expect anybody who wants to do this tag will have already done it because we're past the mid-year point. But if you haven't done this tag, you want to do it, feel free, consider yourself tagged. If you have any of the answers to these questions you want to put in the comments, feel free to do that. I'll be interested to know your best books of the year or your most disappointing books or whatever you want to comment. I always love reading your comments, and I will answer your comments. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. This will help me with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.